Welcome to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and Kaysen Community Radio. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are the largest grassroots advocacy network for people with mental illness and their family members. With over 800 national affiliates and 15 Kansas affiliates, we provide awareness, support, education, and advocacy for the people affected by mental illness and for those family members. Our purpose here is to provide a community conversation on Kaysen Radio that provides insight into what it's like to live with mental illness. Our intention and hope is that our program will change attitudes, assumptions, and stereotypes about people with mental illness, and I'm going to add decrease stigma. My name is David Peterson. I'm the Vice President of NAMI Wichita, and I have to give some recognition for that beautiful intro music that we have from David Larson. And I also have to thank Mike for his being the producer of this show and keeping us on track.
Actually, I'm the engineer.
Engineer, okay.
But you know why? I like to drive trains.
And I'm pleased and proud to be your host today. And I'm a person that has a family member with mental illness. And his recovery has been up and down. And challenges of just being a human are ongoing for him. But today, we're going to talk with our guest, Rita. Rita, hi.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I love what you're wearing. Could you explain that is?
Sure, Dave. This is a 2018 NAMI Walks t-shirt, and it's a white shirt that has a shield, turquoise and orange shield. It says NAMI Walks at the top, then champion, hashtag stigma free in 2018, and on the back it has all of the sponsors' information.
Fantastic. So you obviously did the walk this year. Did you do it by yourself, or were you with somebody? Or
No, I did it with a team from Breakthrough Club Wichita, and this is the third year in a row I've done it with Breakthrough Club. We every year Breakthrough Club raises money for the walk, the NAMI Walk, as a team, and they've done it for many more years than I've been with Breakthrough Club, but this is the third year I've done it.
Fantastic. I've heard that's in Topeka, but I've also heard that we're possibly going to have one here in Wichita sometime in the future.
Trick question, Dave.
No, that wasn't.
That was a statement.
Okay, trick statement.
So what you're
no.
saying, Dave, is she's going to bring the walk to Wichita. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think she will be bringing it here, but NAMI is
She
having.
will definitely
Okay, no, wait a
participate.
minute. Misunderstanding. I thought you meant that you heard Breakthrough Club was in Wichita.
Well, Breakthrough Club.
Or, I mean, Breakthrough Club was in Topeka. Never mind. Never mind. The NAMI Walk is in Topeka.
Right.
Next year.
We're hoping for next year to be in
Next
Wichita.
year there will be one in Wichita. Breakthrough Club is
hope.
in Wichita.
Right.
Breakthrough Club is in Wichita.
You're very well acquainted with the Breakthrough Club, are you not?
Yes, I am. I've been a member since 2015. And this year, actually, they are celebrating their 30th anniversary as a social and vocational wellness club for people with severe and persistent mental illness.
I personally know the Breakthrough Club, and it's a fantastic organization. It really is. Can you tell us a little about your voice as far as mental illness, as far as what's you've been going through or what you've gone through?
Well, I believe that as a child I suffered from undiagnosed depression and anxiety, but I was not diagnosed until I graduated from college, age 22, 23. And there were just a lot of things going on in my life that then led me to being diagnosed with depression. I had a suicide attempt, an abusive marriage that ended. So a lot of things going on in my life, and that led to a period of profound depression that lasted 25 years. Included more suicide attempts, really more hospitalizations than I can count, including one 5-year period where I went in and out of the hospital more than 20 times.
I did not know this about you, and I appreciate you sharing it with us. We are
Yeah.
going to take a short break.
Can I continue though?
When we come back, yes.
Oh,
But we're
okay.
going to take a short
we'll
break.
take a
and-
break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more and find out about how it's affected her. All right? Be right back.
Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and Kaysen Community Radio. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Rita, we had to stop you short there. Could you kind of continue to elaborate? I'm learning things I didn't know about you, that you're a college graduate and but you were having some struggles and
What I found out is that you're a shocker. Is that right? You went to WSU?
No,
Oh,
I am
where'd you
not
go?
a shocker.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not a shocker.
Where did
I'm
you
not
go?
a wildcat.
Where did
I'm
you
not-
go? Okay, then where'd you go?
I went to Colorado College in Colorado Springs, and so, oh gosh.
They're the miners, aren't they?
Well, they're
no, that's
they're
up
actually
north.
Oh, is it?
they're actually what's it called? The first division in hockey. So
Oh,
we
really?
are a hockey school.
Okay.
A hockey school? How cool.
Yes. And the mascot is a tiger, so go
Oh,
Tigers.
okay, go Tigers. Okay, all right. Okay.
So anyway, did you want me to continue? Or?
Well, here's the question we talked about during the break that I think is very important.
What's
you
that?
were not diagnosed with a mental illness, even though you were going to college at the time, surrounded by a lot of professors and not psychologists, but professors in the field of psychology, right? And
Right.
And it wasn't until you decided to try and end your life that they discovered that you had a mental illness. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. My major was actually, it was mostly psychology classes. It was linguistics, neurology, and psychology. It was a self-designed major. But I was mostly in the psychology department. That was where I wrote my thesis. And so my advisor was a psychology professor, and I interacted with her quite a bit because I was writing a senior thesis, and she was overseeing it. And I took several classes from her my senior year, and nobody really saw it.
So after your first suicide attempt, what happened then?
I was hospitalized, and they kept me for a few days and let me go. And nothing really changed.
What was your major point of recovery?
My major point of recovery didn't really happen until 2015, so that's a change from 1993 to 2015. And I guess the reason for that was, I learned a lot over the years. Obviously, you can't go through 25 years of therapy and psychiatrists and groups and all of that without learning a lot. So, a lot of the foundational work was there. But in 2015, I kind of hit rock bottom. I have fibromyalgia, and my pain level was really high, and I wasn't doing well with that. And so they were adjusting my meds. They were bumping up the fibromyalgia meds, and then they were changing my antidepressant, and just, upending.
So this all happened
In 2015.
15.
So they were upending my meds, and so, I had to go in the hospital to do that. And my therapist and I weren't doing well, so I got a new therapist. And while I was in the hospital, they referred me to Breakthrough Club. Well, actually, AmeriGroup they looked at my whole hospitalization record and said, let's, bump her on over to Breakthrough. And so I started at Breakthrough Club, and the three things combined really just gave me the boost I needed. And, I think there was a little bit of divine help in all of that, too, for the three things to happen at the same time. And life just kind of took off after that. It was all three together, just really helped me. And
That's fantastic that you were able to get out of that dark spot. And
yeah.
one thing you said there.
Excuse me, David. I think you give hope to people out
Yes.
there. I think that especially after all of this time that you endured all of that, to now sit here and open yourself up and tell us about how you got to the point where I would have never thought that you had any kind of complications or problems, mental or physical.
Our last NAMI meeting we had just last two nights ago, we had a doctor from the KU School of Psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, if your therapist isn't doing good for you, get another therapist.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what you did. I'm so proud of you.
And that was a big change for you then?
Yes.
Switching therapists?
Well, we'll get back to that after we come back from a short break.
Okay.
Thank you, Rita.
If you would like to learn more about the National Alliance on Mental Illness and how you can get involved in mental health advocacy, please visit our website at nami.org.
Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership of mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. To help our listeners understand a little better what a mental health condition is and can hope for a brighter future, we're visiting with Rita. And Rita, you just got through saying that you changed therapist. And I'm going to want you to expand on that a little bit, because there's so many people out there that might hesitate to do that. And I'm going to ask, what motivated you to do that, other than you weren't progressing, I'm sure. But what gave you the gumption, the drive to do that, and how difficult was it for you?
Well, actually, it was kind of difficult. I was going to say it shouldn't have been, but, I hate to second guess myself like that. I don't like to make should and shouldn't statements about very many things, even though I do that to myself sometimes. I wasn't getting much out of my office visits to my old therapist. I had been going downhill for some time, and it just seemed like we were working at cross purposes. She had been, I had been telling her that I was in a severe depression, and she was telling me I was going through a midlife crisis. And actually, when I started seeing her, because of my age, she just said, well, I think you're having a midlife crisis. And I'm like, well, maybe I am having a midlife crisis, but look at my history, look at my files. look at the list of therapists I've seen.
I would suggest you were having a whole life crisis.
Absolutely. And, it's like maybe I am having a little midlife crisis, but I don't think you can chalk this all up to
Exactly.
that.
That's no.
And so I guess, when I started seeing her, it started from that point, and it didn't really get better. And, then it developed to the point where I got so frustrated that I would find myself walking out of her office in the middle of a session.
Wow.
And still I couldn't tell myself that I needed to switch therapists. And then I stopped going for a couple of months at a time, and I still...
So what prompted you? What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
I ended up in the hospital, and I had a mental health worker say, you need to find a different therapist.
Very good for that person.
And he said, you need to... Because I was just saying, well, but she tells me this, and she tells me this, and she tells me this. And I was, doing this, like with my hands, and just making all these hand gestures and arm gestures. And he says, just find yourself a different therapist.
For those of you at home, she just looked like a windmill.
Right. We're not on TV.
No, it's okay.
But she was waving her arms.
Right.
But I think everybody needs to hear that, because, like I said before, that if your therapist isn't working for you, find a therapist that will work for you. And it sounds like you did.
Yeah, and I was just going to say the follow-up to that is I have found a therapist who I have a really great rapport with. And the other thing is she works from a standpoint of, she works on my problems, but she also, she works as my cheerleader, and instead of just focusing solely on my problems and on my past, she works on helping me break through my limits and finding what I can do instead of focusing on what I can't do. And so I'm exploring new territory and focusing on the future instead of focusing on the past and what my mental illness prevents me from doing, and which is whole new territory for me.
Well, that's something we're going to dive into the next segment, because I want to know what you can do. And I know you well enough that you have a lot of things that you enjoy doing. And
I do.
But we'll get into more involved in that next segment. And we have one more segment with you. Again,
What I said earlier, and I need to say this lady, I would never thought that you had any kind of problems, mental, physical, or otherwise. I think it's, like I said, you need to be applauded for coming on the show and telling us what you're telling us.
I know she doesn't want me to probably elaborate on some of this, but I've seen her give public speeches, and she does a fantastic job.
Wow.
And
Well, thank you.
And that's, you do a fantastic job of presenting yourself, and I know Breakthrough Club has been important to you, and Breakthrough Club does a lot of things for those people with mental illness, and that's why NAMI and Breakthrough are somewhat interconnected. We've had Barb on our show here, so it's. But we'll talk more in a little bit.
Okay.
Welcome back to Our Own Voice. I'd like to also mention here that we have NAMI Wichita, a phone number. Please call it if you're interested in knowing more about NAMI or how it could help you or someone in your family. It's 316-866. Let me start over on that. I'm sorry. It's 316-686-1373. Again, it's 316-686-1373. And we'd be happy to send you some information on it. We have support groups and education groups, programs going almost constantly. We have an educational program and an affiliate meeting every first Tuesday of the month. On the third Tuesday of the month, we have Ask a Doctor, which is very informative. And from Ask a Doctor, we go to Share and Care. So it's a great night to come down there on the third Tuesday of every month. And that's where you're coming, is to our First Presbyterian Church at 525 North Broadway. And if you have any questions, again, call that number that I mentioned. And we have other programs going. But let's get back to Joe Rita. Joe Rita, as you were saying, the new therapist and different medications helped you come out of some of your depression and helped you have a happier life. Is that always the case?
No, it's not. I mean, there's peaks and valleys in every life, whether you have a mental illness or not. And that's certainly the case in my life. And that includes that long recovery that I had from 2015 on. And actually, the last 4 or 5 months, the last 4 out of the last 5 months, I'd spent in a state of fairly severe depression. But because of the meds that I were taking that they put me on in 2015 you have to watch it with psych meds. Sometimes they quit working. And the antidepressant quit working, so they had to switch it for another. But, me, I said, no, that one worked. And so I resisted it too long. But a month ago, they put me on a new one, and it works now. And so I'm a lot happier. So, you have your peaks and valleys. One thing that does help me kind of maintain more of an even keel when I have those down moments is, my therapist taught me this, is the practice of gratitude. What she had me do is start keeping a gratitude journal. And instead of doing that originally as she taught me, I've kind of transitioned to doing it online. And there's a blog I've stumbled onto called gratitudeaddict.com if anybody wants to check it out.
What was that website?
www.gratitudeaddict, all one word, .com. There are actually 3 lemonade affirmations on there. And the one is a positivity pledge that has kind of become my new life's manifesto. It talks
And why
about
do they call it lemonade?
making lemons out of lemonade.
Oh, that makes sense.
The Facebook group is called Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. And it can be physical or emotional pain. The founder has lupus and fibromyalgia, that I've got fibromyalgia and, emotional pain. So people are in it who have emotional pain and or physical pain. And it really helps out.
There's no cure for either, is there?
No, it's about not just surviving, but thriving. It's about thriving. Mm-hmm. Scratch the surviving, you thrive. Right. And, you can't post negative stuff in the group. You go there, and it's just for gratitude. And it really helps to have that positive community of people.
That helps you be more at peace with yourself and...
Yeah. It really helps with happiness. It helps maintain me on an even keel. You go there and you find this uplifting group of people. We're going to have to break off here in a little bit. But do you have things that you enjoy doing? I really do. One thing that I really enjoy doing and that I've become more and more involved in different ways, like you mentioned with the public speaking. The public speaking is one way, and I now I serve on the State Rehabilitation Council, appointed by Governor Brownback, and I'm now on the Kansas Mental Health Coalition. I attend those meetings. I want to help reduce the stigma of mental illness in as many ways as I can.
And you're not going to tell us about the writers group?
I guess I have to.
Real quick.
I lead a writers group at my apartment building, and I've been doing that for 4.5 years, creative writing, and that's something I really enjoy.
Fantastic. And I didn't realize all these other activities you were involved in. That's
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And Joe, Rita, it's been a pleasure. Maybe we can have you back sometime because there's more to tell, I'm sure, as far as your life and how you've adapted and recovered. And thank you. I'm off.